Now, what I want you to do is, you know, those exercise that we did in the beginning. Take them apart and put them together for Meghana.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I told you to go back.
That's all right. That's all right. Hi, guys.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay.
Who are you?
Who am I? I am a radio presenter currently. I host the evening drive show on City 1016. For those of you not familiar, it's a Bollywood radio station. And I get paid to talk and play music. That's the simplistic definition of what I do. It's a lot more complicated. It's a lot more layered. I've been part of radio for 13 years now. Yeah. You know, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing currently in my life.
And you're enjoying.
I enjoy it, yes.
We can actually do this where I don't speak at all for an hour, right?
No, no, I just finished that for 4 hours. I just finished that for 4 hours. So that's what I do. That's my profession currently.
How do you get into it?
A complete fluke.
Accident.
Complete accident. I was in Bangalore. And I went to this radio station, this really cool radio station that had started. They were playing English music. They were the only radio station in the country that was playing English music. And I was like, okay, let's be a part of it because we listen to music, right? Music is part of every day, whether you're listening to radio or whether you're listening to music on your own. Music kind of influences how you feel. I think I heard of a sales job opening. That time I was in advertising. In client servicing, hated it. I'm so glad I quit when I did. Which
company?
Which company in Bangalore?
You want to say?
No, I don't think so. Actually, it's a really small company. I hope it's shut down. But I don't know. I don't know.
It's not on your LinkedIn profile.
No, it's not. It's very strategically not on any of my profiles. But yes, I was in client servicing. I lied to my boss. I said I'm going for lunch. I didn't. I was actually going for this interview to the radio station to apply for a sales job. And for some strange reason, I met the programming head. So in a radio station, should I explain?
Yeah, please.
Programming head. Okay. So a programming head is somebody who's part of just what you hear on air. That's it. So just the program of the radio station. So that's the creative team, or so we like to think. And then there's the sales team, and then there's the marketing team, and then you've got various components to a radio station. So I went and met the programming head of this radio station. So I'm talking to him, and he gives me the weirdest expression. So I'm like, okay, does that mean, do I leave? Because I don't know what that means. So he's like, no, can you do a voice test? At that point, I didn't know what in the world a voice test was. So I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, okay, just pick 2 of your favorite songs and introduce them. So he just made it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world. Just introduce them. I was like, and at that point, when somebody puts you in that spot, you can't think of 2 of your favorite songs. You really can't. It's like, so what are your favorite? I was like, I don't know. Anyway, I went into the studio. I did a few demos. He made me go back and forth like that for about 2 months. And then before I knew
For 2 months?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think
demo?
he just liked my face. Honestly, yeah. No. I think it was just, a lot of it was a lot of training as well, because that's the first time that I was on air or behind
for 2 months
the
you're going for lunch there.
Yeah. How did that? I have no idea. No wonder I left that job. But yeah. I finally got the job and I was in radio.
So no, really, for 2 months you're just going during lunchtime?
No, over the weekends as well.
Okay.
And then after work. Yeah. No, not during just lunch. I had to get very clever with my excuses over the 2 months.
Okay.
So now when I give my boss excuses, you know where that homework is come from.
Okay.
That's my. A lot of people died in my family. And fell ill a lot. It was like a sick family. So in my entire family, a lot of people were ill for a lot of.
So chicken pox, and then somebody else got it.
Like my granddad slipped, and this happened to my grandmom. God rest their soul, but yeah. So those always work.
But you knew you.
I'm not going to heaven. I signed that off long back. So yeah, so that's how I got into radio. Tried leaving in between, tried doing marketing, but something just drew me back to radio again. So haven't left 13 years.
But why do you go in the first place? Just because you like English music, or
Why did I what?
I mean, the idea of radio, how did it enter your mind?
Ah, honestly, being on air or being a presenter or being part of the programming department or the creative team didn't cross my mind at all. I fell in love with it. It was like an arranged marriage. I got married to radio and then fell in love. Radio didn't attract me because it was something that I was passionate about or that I was curious about. It was just something that intrigued me because I couldn't understand. So I've been doing theater for a very long time. And when you're doing a play or when you're performing on stage, you have eye contact. So you've got your face, people can see your entire body, and that's how you communicate. But for me on radio, somebody can become your best friend. You don't necessarily have to see them ever, but they're your best friend because they talk to you when you're stressed. They play your favorite kind of music. You're thinking of a song, and 3 seconds later, that song's playing, and you're like, how did you know? How did you know that's the song I was thinking about? So the fact that you use just auditory cues, it's just my voice, it's just sound effects, it's just music. How, with using just one of your senses, do you make the kind of connection that you do? I was always curious about that.
And how did life prepare you for this?
How did life prepare me for this? Wow, that's a really interesting question.
How do you come with such a question?
I don't think. How did life prepare me for?
For picking up the cues and understanding what they would like to hear and being acute to their needs?
You mean as a radio professional or as somebody outside radio?
It doesn't matter, I think, whether it's radio or otherwise. I think you are perceptive to people.
Yeah, okay, now I get it.
Sort of connected to their subconscious.
Yeah, very deep question. I'm an only child. So the only company that I really had at home was no company. So whenever I used to be around people, I became a very curious listener. So I listen to people very well. I think that's one of my biggest strengths. And I think that a person's tone or a particular word that somebody's used, I pick up on that quite well.
Even when you're young?
From when I was young. Yeah, I was a really serious child. My mother thought there was so much wrong with me. It was the opposite. But yeah, I was I was a very serious child. I was always, there were like psychology books lying in my house.
Desmond Morris?
Sorry?
Desmond Morris?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Like titles I don't even remember.
Okay.
No.
So author of Body Watching is man watching, body watching.
Okay, no.
So there's
I'm
all
not.
books about being observing and everything.
Yeah.
All right.
So which is, yeah, I think
Okay.
that's how life prepared me for it. Being an
Okay.
only child prepared me to be a better listener.
And how do you change from being that person who was so serious into fun loving?
It's just a front.
It's just a friend.
It's just a front. No, I think. Wow. Yeah. No, I think it's. I'm not.
You just got around.
I think that it's true with all of us. We have so many masks, right, that we walk around with every day. So you have the work mask, you have the marriage mask, you have the when you're just chilling with friends mask. You have. So I think it's not one or the other. It's not you're either serious or you're fun loving. It's whatever situation presents itself, you wear a different mask for that situation. And sometimes, at least for me, it's not just for me, but it's also to make the other person comfortable as well. So I think for me, it's always been about juggling which mask to wear. Doesn't mean that the mask that I'm wearing now is a fake mask, because I know the connotation with a mask is that's fake. not necessarily. It's
a
just
different
different
mark.
sides of you. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
different sides of you.
It could be emotional intelligence level.
Yeah.
Because you actually showing the person in front of you what he or she is expected to see, and you are this is how you get along.
Yeah, you're mirroring them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this has all come into so much of play as a director for you.
As a director, as a play director, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it has, definitely. I think theatre taught me,
How do you get into theatre?
it's quite literally in my blood. So my biological dad and mum met while they were doing a play. My mother and father played daughter and father. I don't know how that romance started. I'm really glad I don't know the details about that. But so they were performers, and ever since I was a kid, my mum she never worried about whether I was good at basketball or swimming or karate. It was like, are you in the school play? I'm like, yeah, I'm playing a tree. So it started. With me playing a tree. And it never stopped because I love it.
Now stop playing a tree?
I know, no. Thankfully, I stopped playing a tree, and people actually gave me lines. But yeah, it started with that, and it hasn't stopped. Just performing on stage is, if I could do it for a living, I'd do it.
Fine.
For the safety of Samir, there is no karate, right? Only
There is no karate. Little bit of it. I think
take aside.
I think I went up to green belt, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I,
Sorry?
We have black.
What?
All of us have black.
why do you say biological dad and mom?
Because when I was in my 7th standard, I found out that the stepdad that I'm living with is not my actual dad. I had a very tough childhood. I grew up in a home that seemed like it was together, but it wasn't. It was a broken home. And I wear that as a badge of honor, quite honestly. I am who I am. I've been able to sympathize, or empathize rather, as much as I have in my life with other people because of my broken background, and the scars that has left all over me. So that's why my biological dad, because I never met him, I never got to meet him. I found out in my 7th standard that I had a biological dad. And that explained a lot about my relationship with my stepdad. Along came daddy issues, which I'm still trying to resolve. But I never got to meet him because he passed away, and that's how I found out that I had a biological dad. So that's why I said that. So yeah. Wow.
Any question before?
Sorry about dampening the mood.
So you said you were like a single child and you turned out to
Yeah, I still am a single child that I know of.
be a listener. So you became a good listener.
Yeah.
So and then now you are a good speaker. So how did being a listener to speaker journey happen? Like,
I think the more you listen, the more it helps you figure out exactly what to say. Because you don't say things just for the heck of saying it. I think the listener in me became the performer. The performer in me became the radio professional. I think that's exactly what happened. That was the transformation. So because I was a great listener, for some strange reason, I don't know if I'm a great wow, I just said I'm a great performer. I'm really humble. I'm not this vain usually. Sorry?
do you read as well?
Yeah. I can't sleep if I don't read a few pages. So yeah, I think it kind of transformed organically into me being a speaker. Yeah. Also, when you're an only child, you don't get to talk that much. So now I'm taking all of that out.
That was the point I was
Yeah,
saying.
because you don't get to speak to anybody, right? But now I get to speak to 1.7 million people. It's like, oh my God, I've got all the siblings that I've ever wanted. So yeah.
Do you actually feel that they are there when you're speaking on radio? Do you
That's
actually do you have a visual cue or something in your mind that there are a lot of people you're speaking to, or
yeah.
you do?
Interestingly, not a lot of people. It actually helps if you focus on just one person.
Yeah.
And in our radio training, right from the beginning,
Yeah.
we were told that when you are talking on radio, always make it seem like I'm talking to just one person.
Yeah.
Because the minute you say all of you, I kind of alienate. It's like, oh, so I'm just like anybody. Except if I say you, hey, your favorite song is coming, the person listening, the auditory cue is, it's for me. So your day might have been complete shit. Like you could have gone, can I say shit? Because I've already said it. Maybe no. Okay, not again.
You can say it.
I can say.
You can say it.
Okay.
You can keep saying it again and again. It's okay.
So your day has been complete
Shit.
Thank you.
That's help. That's helper.
But if I kind of make you feel like I'm talking just to you or I'm there just for you,
The shit goes away.
the shit goes away. So the visual cue is actually not a number of people. It's just it's one person. It just makes the whole thing a lot more special for me as well. For me as well.
They said the same thing. Yeah. Said.
He said he used to keep.
Yeah, he just copies me all the time. We talked about it. He just stole my answer. No, I'm kidding.
He said he used to keep a photo of his
Yeah.
best friend in the dog.
Really?
That's what he said.
Keeps her photo.
Not my photo.
Okay.
His wife would have a very big problem with that.
Yeah. That was in the beginning.
Transition from English radio to English radio.
What do you mean? I don't understand that.
I think I heard your first job was with the
English radio station. Yeah.
channel,
Yeah.
and then you transitioned into Hindi or English.
So I grew up. Is anybody
English,
from
is that?
Delhi here? So I grew. I was going to use a word which I'm not going to use now, but
You already used it.
I grew up in Delhi, which is where I picked up the Hindi from, and my stepdad was Punjabi. So my childhood's been Devanand, and my childhood's been Kishore Kumar, and all of them. So I knew Bollywood while I was growing up. Except when you're in Bangalore, you do automatically assume that you're better than the rest, which means Hindi is not a language that you should know, or Bollywood is not the kind of music that you should be listening to, because when there's Def Leppard, who's Kishore Kumar, right? So I went the Def Leppard way because mob mentality, right? And Bangalore, anybody from Bangalore?
Yes, sort of.
So you know, do you know what I'm talking about? See? Exactly. Because
Mirroring the same effect.
in Bangalore, we're so elitist. Yeah.
Bangalore.
We're so elitist. We're really, let's admit it. Yeah?
So where are you from? Delhi or Bangalore?
Bangalore. My heart's in Bangalore.
Your heart's in Bangalore.
My heart's in
How do you move from Delhi to Bangalore?
I ran.
You ran.
Yeah. No, so I'll finish your question first. So because I knew Bollywood already, then the cool side of me joined the cool English radio station and was very proud that she has nothing to do with Bollywood anymore. Then the offer from Dubai came and they said Bollywood radio station. So I got a call from Dubai saying Bollywood radio station. I was like, okay. So then I went onto the internet. Thankfully that existed by then. And I was like, what are the latest songs? Because I had to send an entire demo, except I don't know what Hindi music sounds like anymore. So I listened to the few songs and I put it together. Whatever Hindi I did remember, I kind of put that into my links as well. Thankfully, I faked it well enough for them to say, okay, you have the job. So that was the transition. It was a lot of faking.
From English radio
It's a lot of faking.
for 10 years or
Change. It's been there for 8 years already.
so English radio for 10 years or so, and then Dubai. How long have you been here?
6 years.
Oh,
Yeah. So English radio before that, and now 6 years here.
my perception, I'm from Delhi, I've been in Dubai for a few years, is that English radio jockeys,
Yeah.
Few is what? 21?
huh?
Few years? Few years?
Is that English radio jockeys have an accent and a twang and an attitude.
In Dubai,
No, whereas
worldwide. Okay.
Okay. Perception.
Okay.
May not be reality.
Right.
But then I find it difficult for to envision a English jockey doing English radio. So therefore my question.
Yeah.
So you kind of
Have-
act well.
Have.
Do you have a radio voice?
Do I have a radio voice?
A voice for the radio only?
Has anybody heard me on air here? Do I have a radio voice? I do have a radio voice. Okay.
Show it to us. Do you have? No?
Drive Master Go Go. You heard me. Do I have a radio voice? No.
It's the same.
I heard you as in you are speaking now, so I don't know what
Guys, tune into my show. What is this? This reflects really badly. My boss should not be seeing this.
She
How
just
many of
finished
you?
her show and came over here
It's not
right
amongst
now.
the 1.7 which
But it should. Imagine my boss. Imagine my boss watches this. She's like, "How many people listen to your show?" I'll be like, "None of them." I'll get fired tomorrow.
I will listen now.
You listen, okay?
do it solo.
I have a co-host. I have Lokesh as my co-host.
What is the signature for your program? Because every program actually has songs playing in and then you coming and speaking over. And there are a lot of these RJs who are doing the same thing. How does yours stand out?
I think Lokesh and I have a interesting dynamic on Drive Master Go-Go where our roles are reversed. Where he spends more time in the kitchen, I run away from the kitchen. I'm into gadgets and electronics, and he's technologically really bad. So in terms of that, it's that really nice male-female stereotype that gets flipped on its head with us. So we do a lot of that. We're very good friends off air, and it comes across on air. Neither of us is ever afraid to laugh at ourselves, and he brings out, and I mean this respectfully, but he brings out the ghattiest side in me, which is brilliant, which is really good.
What is ghattiest?
Like he brings out the less sophisticated side of me. Let's just say.
Can you give an example?
No, I'm not. No, you don't bring out the ghati in me.
I want to try.
You have to go to the studio.
Yeah, you have to come. Yeah, listen to my show.
Is that the only show that you do?
Yeah, that's the only show that I do. That's the
Happens every day.
happens every weekday, 5 to 9 p.m. Yeah.
What?
No, that's Rohit Jayakaran. So he was my co-host. Yeah. He's not in. He left radio. Yeah.
So when you do radio, you mentioned mask.
Wearing a mask.
Yes,
Yeah.
wearing mask,
Yeah.
which actually I don't agree because you should more say a role than a mask because a mask is very fixed and you seem to be very vivid and full of life and expression. A mask is more to hide behind.
Right.
You more play a role
Mhm.
as an actress than wearing a mask, in my opinion.
Okay.
So what type of attitude, because that's after all an attitude or a composition, will you put when you are behind the mic? Or are you just yourself?
So the tricky part about being ourselves is that if we've had a really bad day, I can't let you know because you've had a bad day. So I have to. So before we go in, and I think this is, if you ask me what the most challenging part about my job would be, it would be this. Because before you enter the studio, you kind of have to put a band-aid on everything that is happening. So if you have a headache, if you have had a fight at home, if you're going through a divorce, if your mom's sick, if somebody's died, or whatever it is, you cannot, when that mic comes on, let anybody know that there's anything wrong with you, because that is not your role as someone who's behind the mic. So I think the mindset when I do switch on the mic is that beyond this, nothing else exists. There is nobody else. All I'm doing is, if I have a co-host, I'm having a conversation with my co-host, and I have to make sure that you enjoy the music that's coming next. So that's the... Did I answer your question?
But do you compose or is it very spontaneous?
Now it's spontaneous. It wasn't. But now it's second skin. You make me get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and ask, do not ask me to do a link now. You wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and ask me to do or introduce a song. Now I can. After 13 years, I can. But it took a while. It really did. Because actually, it still gets a little frustrating on really bad days. And all of us have really bad days. So it does. It gets a little frustrating.
I had a PA who said it's not because you have a bad day, that means you have a bad life.
Right.
Bear that in mind.
Right. Okay.
Have you done NLP?
So no bad hair days. Bad life days.
Have you done your NLP?
Yes, I have done my NLP.
You heard of anchoring?
Yeah.
The concept of anchoring, I think, comes from this maybe.
Yeah.
It comes from this concept of the radio jockeys anchoring, actually, maybe.
Yeah.
When you get into a room, you have to anchor
You have
yourself.
to anchor yourself to that particular space and honor the role that you're playing in that space. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Yes.
So, have you ever had a situation, particularly with Bollywood music, where you think the music is absolutely rubbish and you have to be enthusiastic about it? And how convincing would
And
you
somebody
be?
paid you to be enthusiastic about it, yeah.
Bollywood music has a lot of rubbish out there.
No, it's great.
It's
Every track that
amazing.
comes out is amazing.
Great, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of music that I've heard that I have to admit, it's very hard to be enthusiastic about. Bollywood particularly.
But then you're not a radio
Thank God
jockey, you know.
I don't have to be honest about it.
Yes. But okay, so I was the thing about music, what I've come to realize is how subjective it is, right? What is absolute rubbish to you, to somebody else, it'll make their day. And this happens to us when we do our music research. So we do this, I think, every 3 months or 6 months, I can't remember exactly when, where we get in a group of people in a room and we play about 50 songs for them, not the entire song, but just a bit of the song. And they need to respond immediately. And then there's a graph that plays for us at the back. So if they've really liked it, the graph goes up and all of that. When that research result is in front of us, Tahira, I cannot even tell you how surprising that is. Like a Honey Singh song, right? How many Honey Singh fans in this room? You're from Bangalore, put your hand down. You are not a Honey Singh fan. No, what is that? Yeah, so a Honey Singh song, which we thought, because it was full of references to alcohol and women and a buffet of women, it's like, really? But it did so well. It did so well because somewhere it resonates with someone. So I think you kind of, after some time, you resign to the fact that, okay, you might not like this, but there are probably 500.
Yeah.
Sure. No, absolutely.
It shows you. It's
Subjective.
No, absolutely. But it's subjective, right? Because
They're entitled to their bad taste.
and you're calling it bad taste, for them it's just taste. It's just.
But for them, what your taste is bad taste, no? Because they like something else.
But one of the things that is such a big conversation in India, particularly, one is there is no proper censorship.
Sure.
We have these songs that are filled with nonsense lyrics that children are hearing, and teenagers are hearing, all
It's
of
a
this.
fantasy.
There is fantasy.
4 bottles
and
vodka.
then-
कोई पी सकता है?
rightly said, and I see kids singing and dancing to it, and I sometimes wonder, do you guys even have any idea what this entails? I'm talking about the music. So yeah, personally, sometimes as a parent, there is music I have objected to.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. But honestly, at the end of the day, how I justify it is that I am nobody to judge. I'm not going to judge your taste in music because I don't know who you are. I don't know what your story is that makes you like Honey Singh, and I'm not going to judge it.
I think that's not the case with Bollywood music only. Even the Hollywood music, like in terms of lyrics, there are many songs that are way above.
I think it's with music in general, right? In any language.
Bollywood.
In any language, yeah.
Many times people just hear music, not the lyrics.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's the words
I
where we are
enjoy
more into the sounds rather than the lyrics.
Sure.
The beat
Sure.
is good, we just go by it. Maybe we are just singing along with it, but we don't really register. As she said, the words are like.
Also, different people hear different things. Like, I am a lyrics person, so I'll go to lyrics immediately. So a Yo-Yo Honey Singh song might have the sickest beat, but I will not like it because I don't like the lyrics. But if there is a song that doesn't have the best tune to it, but the lyrics are fabulous, I'll get drawn to that. So again, that's why music is just so subjective. Like, I cannot listen to instrumental music. It drives me up the wall because I'm like, how does this make sense? Can you say something? Because this is just pling pling. It's just going from one instrument to the next. I cannot do this. So music is so subjective, and that's what I love about music in general, is because of the moods So it can improve your mood, it can depress you further. It's when you're feeling lonely and you listen to somebody singing about loneliness, you're like, okay, there's another human being out there who feels the same way. Mr. Who was that? Akon? Who was that?
How's that? What's the story?
Was this? It's called The Beautiful I have The Beautiful Letdown tattooed here. It's about my dad, about my biological dad who I never met. I call it beautiful because I somehow relate to him even though I did not know him, which is a concept I'm still trying to grasp. So I don't know how many of you would understand. How do you miss someone who you've never met? And I've never met my biological dad, but I miss him. And I don't know why. I'm still figuring that out. And the letdown is because it's a letdown that I never got to meet him. It is also a badge of honor for depression because I've gone through depression twice in my life. So it was a beautiful letdown because I wouldn't have learned everything that I learned about myself, about other human beings, about just human behavior in general if I hadn't gone through depression. So that's what makes it beautiful. So it's like a mind.
Did you go through depression when you were on radio also? Yeah?
Is it a Bangalore thing that people who get depressed and talk about it? Other chick I know.
No, it's a Kerala thing. It's a Kerala thing.
You know, there's this chick called Deepika Padukone or something. Her father was a badminton player. So, she has been very bravely talking about depression.
Excuse, yes.
And it's great, as in depression happens.
Right.
But not everybody is able to express it or talk about it.
I think
more of us need to.
I think what happens with depression, it makes other people very uncomfortable because you don't understand it. Which is why the minute the depression came up, all of you started talking really loudly. Because it's the first thing that you do with, oh my god, it's going into a really like intense space. What do I do? Let's talk and laugh. So depression makes people very, very uncomfortable. People who don't understand it. Or have no idea about it. But yeah, I think Deepika also comes from a background where her parents have always encouraged her. She's surrounded by people who talk about it. And I 100% agree that it needs to be talked about a lot more. I think especially in the Desi community because it's such a taboo, right? It's like snap out of it. It is just a phase. You're just sad. You're not depressed.
Think of some positive thoughts. I mean, probably that's one of the positive things.
What gave you the strength? Like, what was you met it twice and you fought it twice?
I'm fighting it the second time, but I fought it the first time.
There must be a driving force, right?
Therapy? Honestly, therapy. As much as in the Indian society and in our Desi community. Yeah, but you have family, talk to me. No, that's the problem, right? Because when you have a problem that, I don't know how many of you felt this way, where there is something inside you that's missing, or you feel like there's something inside you that's broken, but you can't figure it out. You don't know where that sadness comes from. And when you go to your mom or when you go to your dad, there's so much baggage that comes with it, right? Because she's your mom and she's your dad, or she's your sister, or she's your best friend. So she is always going to be on your side. She's going to tell you things that you want to hear. But when you go into therapy, here's this person who has no clue who you are. You have to recite the story of your life from scratch. That's the only frame of reference. So this person is not going to be scared to tell you that, listen, what you're saying is not what it is. Look at it this way. So I think the strength that I got was from therapy, for sure. And also because, and then I became a certified counselor. And I've always, psychology books, right, when I was growing up. It was like foreshadowing when I was like 2 years old, that listen, you're going to be depressed in a few years. But yeah, I think also I was just always very aware of what I felt like. Feelings have always been very, very important to me. So yeah, I think therapy would be a big strength.
The way you were handling depression was meditation part of it. I mean, I asked that because I can relate to a lot of things what you said with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She still calls me biological mother.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was just telling, and then I could sort of see it's open in the way you sort of spoke about it. But apart from therapy, but you also take any medication?
I did for some time, but I hated it.
But you were able to stay off it?
Yeah.
I think
Only because I really didn't like what it did. I have nothing against medication for mental health. I have a problem with the dependency on them. And I think what medicine does for mental health is it just numbs you.
Absolutely.
Right? So you feel nothing, but that's not what I want to do. I want to figure out why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, not stop it. Because these feelings are teaching me whatever. So I want to learn whatever I can from these negative feelings for a bit, and then I want to park them. But I don't want to numb it.
How do you identify that you have it?
How did I identify it?
Because it's very different from being sad or upset or whatever it is, right?
Again, depression is extremely subjective. So some people are predisposed to it. I'm predisposed to it because my biological dad was very, very depressive. And he had a few mental health issues. So I'm predisposed to it, which means even the slightest chemical imbalance will push me that way. Because I was aware of it and because I had done the kind of research that I had done in psychology and my counseling training and all of that, in my head it just ticked all the boxes. I'm like, okay, please go see a therapist. That's how I picked on it, only because I was aware myself. If I had relied on other people, I would have never gone into therapy because people would have just said, you're just sad. Listen to happy music. What do you mean listen to happy music? But yeah, distract. The worst is distract yourself.
Yeah, when you
Like if you're going through meditation
Depression.
so you actually realize that you are into depression, and or is it like you have overcome it and then you think that things are happening positive in my life, so that period would have been my depression? It's quite a.
can you describe depression for us?
I'm going through a depression, so you can just say that I'm into a depression, or once you have overcome the depression, you say that that was the depression period for me, and now the things are happening good for me.
You know it before or after or during that situation?
During.
Or you realize during the
You are going through a depressing phase and you realize that you are in a depression.
What signals do you see? What signals do you see?
You're in a depression.
Green or red?
Okay, I'll describe a few of the symptoms that I've had. But just remember that these symptoms are not the same for everyone. Because like I was saying, some people are predisposed to it. Some people have triggers, like parents separating, divorce, losing all your money, stuff like that. So that there are different triggers for different kinds of, again, depression is also so layered, there are different kinds of depression. Like the triggered depression, and I use this word very loosely, is easier because then you know exactly what to trace it back to. It's like, oh, okay, you lost all your money. You know what I'm saying? It's just easier to trace back. Predisposed depression, or my kind of depression, it's very hard to figure out exactly what's gone wrong. So the symptoms are basically this. It's sadness. It's just you cannot figure out where the sadness comes from. It's you wake up in the morning hopeless completely, but there's everything right with your life. You've got a great job to go to. You're probably in a really great relationship, right? Whether that's a boyfriend or whether that's a girlfriend or whether you're in a marriage, you're in a really great relationship. You have a great job, great apartment that you live in. You're successful. You're making money, but for some strange reason, you feel hopeless. There is very little energy to do anything that you like, and nobody, including yourself, can understand what's going on. Why are you feeling like this? And I know I went through that. My first bout of depression was in a phase where everything was going right. And I just couldn't understand it. Like, but everything's okay. And that's what people try and tell you, which is, I think if there's one thing I could tell all of you today is if somebody is going through this, please do not tell them to snap out of it. Or please do not say it is just a phase or it's just a day. Just give them 5 extra minutes. Or, actually worse than that, is do not look at them and say, yeah, but look what you have. Yes, I know that. I am aware of all the good things that I have in my life. But despite that, I feel awful. That's a big sign. That's actually one of the biggest signs. When you know that in this person's life, everything's perfect. So why the sadness? That's a big sign.
Lovely. Yes.
Melancholia and
Melancholy? Yeah.
and
Yes.
Hey, Meg.
I'm sure you're so expecting this letter from me.
Pamil.
Just wanted to say a big, big thanks to you for giving my parent a very first play in such a huge radio station, and also being so kind enough to call us back again and again, and giving us such amazing opportunities. Really, really means a lot to us. It's given us a lot of recognition. So always thankful to you, and yeah, so always be the wonderful person you are, wonderful actress, the wonderful radio presenter. Just be wonderful as you are. Thank you so much.
Aww. That was a surprise.
Who's he?
Pamil was one of our artists that we put on air here in Dubai. He's actually a really good singer.
It's fantastic. Just follow his Instagram. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, having assessed music for so long, or kind of played it out for the world, have you learned something?
I would
Do you
love.
sing?
Do I sing?
Would you like
He-
to say?
No, I don't. Not here, not right now. But I do occasionally. I've done my share of musical plays and
Why
stuff
not
like
now?
that. No, because no. But yeah, I've always wanted to learn the guitar for like the longest time.
What do you want to sing now?
So no. But
It doesn't matter.
so I've wanted to learn the guitar for the
But you
for the
promised to
longest
sing.
time. I did not promise you anything.
Where you are saying this?
On air? What? What?
Nothing.
I know, but I didn't promise anything. So yeah, so I wanted to learn the guitar, which I might. I'm actually planning to enroll in a few classes because I just like being surrounded by music all the time.
I'd like to ask you.
Yes.
So the first guest had expressed his inner dream to move into training
Okay.
after all he's done, what he's done in his field. Now, in my opinion, you really achieved a lot in theater, achieved a lot in radio. But where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself in the future? Where do you think happiness lies for you in the future?
Ooh, happiness.
In pursuit of happiness.
No. It's not difficult questions. It's just questions that I haven't thought about. I'll tell you why I have a problem thinking about 10 years from now. All I've done my entire life is plan for the next day. So what I'm doing currently is just one day at a time.
But
Just
where
one
do
day.
you see happiness?
Perfect. I just asked you yesterday to be here.
Yeah, see? Exactly. I was like, okay, this is perfect. I don't have to plan it for a week. Where does happiness lie for me?
In your opinion, after all you've been through, where do you think it lies? After a certain age, we tend to realize that this is what
I think will eventually lie. When I can help. I'm going to borrow this from you. Give back. So my dream, if I can be as bold as to state it here, is to build a halfway home. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a halfway home. It's basically for teenagers and adults or young adults who have nowhere to go and feel like they're not understood. I want to build homes for them where I can just, through theater, through drama, through counseling, through NLP, through however I can, help these kids out and help these adults out. So I think my happiness will eventually lie in seeing in seeing other people happy. As Gandhi-ish as that sounds.
Do you know how? Do you know how to?
I have my purpose. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I have my purpose here. I've actually never told anybody this.
You know how to identify a purpose in life? Do you know the tool for identifying a purpose in life?
Do I know the tool? No.
Yeah, there's a tool actually. I don't know if for those of you who are here for the first time or not listen to this, there's a tool which actually says draw a sine cos wave, and up and down, and look at all the highs in your life, see what made you the happiest, write them down, see what are the things that made you really, really sad, and see how you can connect the two. And if you can connect the two, then you will identify your purpose. And what she just now said, what you just now said, is you connected the two.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
The halfway home
Yeah.
for kids is because you're talking about your experience, which was your lowest point in time in life, and you wanted to give back to society, which was about.
Yeah.
So you actually did it.
Yeah.
So it's just about putting it into place now.
Inshallah. Yeah. Yes.
Samir got the amazing part on the analysis. See, here I wanted to reflect on what you said. Yeah, you just described your purpose, and at the beginning you said, "I'm going to help," kind of like.
I said I'm not going to heaven.
Yeah, kind of.
Doesn't make me automatically go to heaven.
Fair enough.
There's always a halfway home.
So I'm trying to say.
She's staying in Dubai.
I'm trying to say, your purpose, this one, will not take you to hell. Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it's a free ticket. You know.
It's a free.
This is one, and actually I connected with your personal story a lot.
Yes, definitely.
And one thing, I just wanted to know what's written in your hand.
Yeah. Oh, the beautiful letdown. The beautiful letdown. It's that's what I was describing. It's kind of, it's like a badge of honor for the dad that I never knew and my depression, because both have been letdowns in my life, but they've been really beautiful because both have taught me very valuable lessons. So, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The guy from Bangalore would like to ask. And then the guy from Mysore would like to ask.
Are you from Mysore?
Yeah.
My mom's entire side of the family is from Mysore, by the way.
Maybe you're related.
Something that she said which was a little intriguing, so I'm just speaking from where she left. She was talking about, no, not you.
The other lady.
You said you don't believe in masks, so since now we're talking about depression.
I didn't say I don't believe. No, I said that mask doesn't fit our personality.
Her personality is more of a role player, not of
But mask
No, I
is
think
very
that's
rigid.
I think she's tough on herself, maybe. Yeah.
But it doesn't line with her personality. That's what
I think that's where I was just correlating this with depression. All of us wear masks. Most of us deny it. We really must be courage in admitting it. For example, mask that I wore when I was a kid, when I was a timid boy, it kind of helped me grow up, break away as a cocoon and lost in a grow up life. So I just want to ask us with this mask, can people wear a mask not to fake it,
No,
but to promote depression?
of course. Absolutely. Because it protects you, right? That mask protects you. It's self-preservation. It's a shield. Exactly. It's self-preservation. I don't know. Which is why when I said mask, I automatically, or rather immediately went into talking about how I don't mean faking it. I just mean sometimes you've got to protect yourself because it's a shield. You're putting the shield up because behind the shield, you're figuring out what's happening inside, but you've still got to live life, right? So if I walk into work without the shield, I'm going to be walking around this sad, mopey little thing, but that's not going to make me very productive.
So it's courage. And there is also a big
It's a form of courage, yeah?
And it's a big difference with the shield and the screen, because the shield is totally opaque.
Yeah, yeah.
The screen lets you
See through, yeah.
So that's why, I think mask doesn't apply for you and doesn't align with your personality at all.
I think when
Yeah, she has a different
yeah,
context
I have
about.
a very different idea of a mask, but
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
What's stopping you from starting your halfway home as soon as
Definitely.
possible?
Definitely helps. In fact, I'd encourage it.
Does the
What's-
acting
yeah.
part help you play different roles?
Yeah.
Like, you can enact. And does that help you with whatever you're going through in your real life?
Oh my God, I cannot even tell you how much. I think, so you were asking me about the strength, right? I think I forgot. It's a good point. Theater helped me so much through that phase, still does. Is because temporarily you leave your life and you're leading somebody else's. And it's catharsis because if it's an angry scene, all that shit, you carry with you and you put it into that scene. Or if it's a sad scene, or if it's a comedy, it's great because it lightens you that much more. So acting definitely helps. I think I'm a better actor because of my depression, quite honestly. But yeah.
I just want to connect 1 minute. You were into theatre as well. What was your reason to getting into theatre?
Didn't have much of a job to do.
Okay. Okay.
In college, I was in theatre because
Okay.
it was anything better than sitting in a math class.
Okay.
So, but I definitely liked it.
Did math class make you depressed?
Really, but I didn't probably do it as much as she did.
Okay.
I acted, we had this thing called Supper Theatre in Chennai, where there's this hotel called Sindhu, it still exists, for sure. Where we used to put up plays in the night for people who came for dinner. It was easy money to make, it was good money to make, but I don't think it was as serious as she did. It was learning. The thing I can share with her is you kind of learn how to project, learn how to do things that are probably not natural to you, but you get more comfortable doing them as you go along.
Yeah.
And some people who do it really well become good actors.
Hmm.
And it's just that you learn to project
Yeah.
personalities or the roles that you play, which I think is phenomenal because she's using it in her radio.
Oh yeah. But theatre performers made me a better radio person as well. Self-proclaimed, clearly.
I have a couple of very mundane questions.
Please. Mundanes are very good.
Wonder, this is mundane, so please.
First, where from India are you?
Sorry?
Where from India are you? He's from Chennai.
So what?
It's still South India.
What do RJs do in between songs?
We're on WhatsApp a lot. We update. No, honestly. What do we do between songs? We prep for the next stuff that's coming up. So if there's a important news story or a Bollywood whatever, if I'm on my own, then I'm going to be just basically prepping of how to say it or what to say it, or what to say about it, because that's really important as well. I can give you the news, but my personality will only shine if I tell you what I think of it, which in the radio fraternity is called a take. What is your take on the story? So you're basically prepping how you will deliver the story and what your take is. Ideally, that's what a radio presenter should be doing. Whether I do it or not is questionable.
It kind of touches on the second question as well. What would you say from your profession, the creative part of it? I mean, why I ask that is songs are somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to play somebody else's music. The request obviously is someone else's. How do you bring yourself into this? There is a creativity, because clearly you come from a theater background. What I can see, there's a lot of creativity. How do you bring that in? What's the creativity part?
I think because radio is so much theater of the mind, I need to be creative every single second of when I'm on air, because I need to find creative ways of telling you that in Abu Dhabi, they have from 12th of August taken off the buffer, the 20 kilometer buffer.
Or your funniest, or your strangest, or your quirkiest, whatever story on it.
I think, so what we do is honestly, now we've lost the joy of strange and funny and quirky because we screen callers. Radio is aged as well. So we call people, but if you sound weird, we'll hang up on you. No, I mean, we'll say bye, but like you're not going on air. We won't just hang up. But I think
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
No, it's actually मैं आपको बाद में phone करूँगा. Put the phone in. But I don't know. Okay, so the strangest was in Bangalore. And because I still don't know if it was a prank or not. But I got a call, and in Bangalore we weren't screening calls. It used to just get patched onto your console. And there was this boy, and he was talking about his day and all of that. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, I want to thank you. So I was like, why do you want to thank me? He's like, I was standing. Okay, this is going to make things really awkward, okay? Just putting it out there. He's like, I was standing on the edge of my terrace, waiting to jump, and I didn't. And this is live, on air. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know what to do with that, because I didn't know whether I was supposed to encourage that conversation or whether I was supposed to cut it short. I cut it short. I spoke to him off air. But I think that would have had to be my strangest on-air moment, because it's just you don't know what to do with something like that. Awkward, really awkward. No, he's alive. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know if he stopped listening to my show. I think so, but I'm like, I don't
You're
know.
not in touch?
No. I have enough depression in my life. I don't need any more.
That's another ticket for heaven.
I see what you're doing. I can see what you're doing.
He's the one in charge, by the way.
The devil's advocate, huh?
Ladies section only.
Really?
Actresses from Bollywood.
Yes.
Oman is catching a crowd.
Talking about actresses from Bollywood playing radio roles.
Yeah.
Vidya Balan played 2 RJs.
Yes.
Once in
Tumhari
Lage
Sulu and
Raho
once in Lage Raho.
and Tumhari Sulu. Which one is your choice?
Tumhari Sulu.
Yeah.
And also a little more authentic. I think that was a little more authentic, a more authentic portrayal of what a radio presenter is like.
Yeah.
Like in Munna Bhai, I couldn't understand why she was sitting in front of a mic and screaming. It's a mic.
No, but this guy Rajkumar Hirani is over the top. He is a good whitewasher, talking in terms of what he's just done.
Maybe, yeah.
Are you planning to get into the movies?
I like how you slip that in. I'm already in the movies.
Okay.
Sorry? No. We've already made a movie. So we made an English movie here in Dubai. I was going to say Bangalore. In Dubai. It's called Beneath the Sea of Lights. It stars Barkhad Abdi. He was in Captain Phillips. I don't know how many of you watched. Yeah. So we have the director sitting right here of the movie. That's Neil. So we made that movie here. So I'm already in the movie.
Lovely. When is it coming out?
Beneath a Sea of Lights.
What is the movie about?
What is the movie about? It's about a Somalian billboard repairman who wants to experience all the products that are on his billboard. And then one fine day, a con artist sort of takes him under his wing and teaches him how to experience those products. And then that leads him from one experience to another.
It's a full-fledged movie or is it just a short movie? What is it?
Full feature.
What's your role?
I'm opposite Barkhad, so I play his interest.
Okay.
Because the director's also going to tell me whether I describe the movie properly or not later. But
so what nationality do you play?
Interesting question. What nationality do I play? We never talked about that. But we never talk about it purposely in the movie either. Like I could be from anywhere.
Bangalore.
Yeah. Yeah, she could be from Bangalore. Yeah.
So is it the same person who played the Somalian?
Yes, that's Barkhad. Yeah. So he's our lead. Jim Sarb is our second lead.
He's the one who gets shot the second time, or first one, Captain Phillips.
Barkhad gets shot the first time or the second? Yeah, he doesn't get. His character doesn't get. The look at me, I'm your captain. The guy who delivers that line. Yeah. That's the guy.
When is the movie releasing?
That is early 2019, but we don't have a date.
Okay.
You know the difference between a movie and a, what was that? Film.
Do you need any pirate?
I have a pirate hijacker.
Do you know what's the difference between a movie and a film?
What's the difference between a movie and a film?
We had the first.
We had Naila Al-Khaja here. You know Naila Al-Khaja?
Yeah.
So she was asking us one of these questions. So what's the difference between a movie and a film?
You should ask that to the director.
I don't know. I think for me, a movie would be something you make for money. A film is something that you would make from the heart.
You're almost there, but yeah.
No, a film is, when it makes movie, it becomes a movie, right?
When it makes
film.
money,
It makes money, it becomes a movie. That's right.
Yeah.
When it's feature to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. For me, it would be the intention behind the feature. But yeah, sure.
Super.
I have one question. I've been waiting for a long time to ask this question. When we speak to our parents or something like that, they can make out even the slightest change. Is everything all right? Just in the word hello itself.
Yeah.
So when you go on air, and you've done all this anchoring thing, and when you come out, have any of your co-RJs or anyone said, that they could spot something was wrong?
When I was on air, when I was talking on air.
Yeah, after that, obviously you go into a different zone when you go in there, but still sometimes
the mask falls. Yeah.
Falls. Has it happened? I'm just curious.
A lot of the times. Like there've been times where I've had to leave the studio. I've had to tell Lokesh I can't do the next link. He's had to do it alone. I've had to gather myself and then come back into the studio. Which is, I guess, one of the advantages of doing a show with somebody. So yeah, no, it happens a lot of the time. People can tell from your voice.
But doesn't that make you authentic? And
if I express that on air, I don't know what purpose it's... Okay, I get what you're saying. Because there can be a lot of people who relate to it. But then there are a lot of people who are going to be very uncomfortable with it. Because they tune... Also, you have to understand the nature of my show is at the end of somebody's day, right? All they have done when they have logged on to the internet is read about what an idiot Trump is. And then what's happening in India and what's happening in Pakistan and the elections and just like sad news. The last thing anybody wants to hear at 5 o'clock in the evening is that you're sad as well.
But that's the same case even if it's the first thing in the morning, right? You don't want to listen to the bad news in the first thing in the morning as well. But there's no time in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no time in the day.
But yeah, there is no time in the day. Because what do you turn to radio for? Entertainment. What do you turn to a Bollywood radio station for? Entertainment. My role at that point is to entertain you. Unfortunately, my sadness is not going to be entertaining. It might be for some people, but my third ticket to heaven.
She's at the gate, She's standing at the gate.
No, I'm thinking, why am I paying my therapist? I should just. Why do I spend all that?
I must warn you.
What is the most funny memory you have where you really lost it and you start to maybe laugh and couldn't stop?
On radio?
Yes.
Every day? Okay, no.
I mean, really lose it. Like you have to.
When somebody makes a call?
Talk anymore.
I think, so I can't remember the context of it, but it happened. See, I can't even, I just remember the memory, but I can't remember the context of it. But there was something that Lokesh, my co-host, said that we had not prepared for. So there are a lot of times where you go into doing a link. Link is the moment where you talk. We call that a link. So we hadn't prepared that, and Lokesh said something, or he threw some funny line at me, which I wasn't prepared for. And I burst out laughing so loudly that I had to step away from the mic, because my laugh, when I do laugh from the bottom of my stomach, is really loud. Because I remember when I laughed, he did that because it was so loud in his ears, and all of that kind of combined. I was like, I can't do it. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, I can't do this. And I'm controlling the mic. He's like, yeah, the buttons are with you. You have to switch the mic off. And all this is happening on air because there is no way. And our new studio, so we've shifted into a really nice office, and our new studio is built in a way where I'm here and Lokesh is where you're sitting. Like that's how far Lokesh is. So I'm like, I can't do this. He's like, yeah, but switch the mic off. And I'm like, yeah, but where? So I think that was it.
And the most difficult word you have to, or name you have to pronounce, because that can also be source of could be Arabic name.
No, actually, it was today. There's a Pakistani artist. Clearly, I don't. Imran Khan? No.
So how do you announce that he won the elections?
Exactly like that.
Just nothing creative?
Imran Khan claimed victory because we actually started talking about it before the numbers came in. So we said Imran Khan claimed victory, and then we put a lot of our Pakistani listeners on, because it's a really emotional day for most people from Pakistan. Anybody from Pakistan? Here? No?
There.
Yeah?
The cameraman.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, so this was a really interesting moment, not related to your question at all. But, so I have a Pakistani colleague, and I went up to her and I said, congratulations. She looks at me and she's like, you know what? Congratulations to you as well. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That kind of makes sense. I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Because Indians should be congratulated as well. Because now, for once, maybe, there's a ray of hope.
Maybe
Interesting.
we'll start cricket again.
Who knows?
Start cricketing.
Maybe Sharjah will thrive again.
We're coming to the end of the session, so we'll just. We could go on and on.
No, we really could. I mean, I do get paid to talk.
You can pick a card, but don't reflect on it. We'll just listen to what they have to say.
Okay.
Like to take reflections.
When
Reflections.
we started the session, you came a bit late, but Samir gave us a chance to speak about what do we get from Awesome Workers. And what I said is that you really don't expect the guest story and where it will take you. And today you were by far one of these examples which surprised me. Now I like to put it in a metaphoric example, but I think we are looking at an example of the legendary phoenix bird who keeps coming out of the ashes to spread happiness no matter what flashes in your life.
Very rarely he speaks sense. Today he did.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I came with very little expectation, but when you mentioned about
That's a very common first impression of me, by the way.
No, to Awesome Walkers itself, not you.
I mean, Awesome Walkers is a place where you get to read a book in 3D with the author or the authors narrating it directly. But you know, for me, it's a lot more deeper. I see in you, I see hope for my daughter. She's been battling depression with various things, various years. She sleeps most of the time. She's attempted suicide. Fortunately, we were there to prevent it.
Is she here? Is she in Dubai?
No, in India. I travel to India about every month or two for 2 or 3 weeks. Been here for the last 15 years.
That must be difficult for you.
Yeah, so it's you know, the mountain doesn't come to Mohammed.
Yeah.
So with you, you know, I see tremendous hope for my daughter. You know, like that is for me the greatest message.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
It was so much of fun that at the beginning you were not going to heaven. Now you are at the top.
What you said? The entire journey was so much fun.
You were almost there.
Yeah, the agent as well.
There's always a price for the ticket, but Iman will tell you about it.
No, now comes the testimonies.
Like, I've been looking for an apartment. You've shown me heaven faster than I could find the apartment.
Yeah.
He was not there when you asked the question about sadness. What you say,
There's a connection.
you have whatever happened in your life, the depression in your
Put the context for her. What is the question?
What is it?
See, every
What are you sad
episode of
about?
Awesome Walkers, we have a question. There are 2 questions.
As,
First question-
the
every
session
episode.
starts with that
Then
question.
starts.
That's
Oh,
how
okay.
it starts with. First question is, what's your name? And second question is always different. And
Okay.
today, the question was, what makes you sad, right?
Really?
What are you sad about?
What are you sad about? That was the
That's
question.
Everybody shared something. So,
what I shared was that I don't find happiness in my sadness. And you found it through incidents in your life. That's what I want to achieve. When you ask that, Lane, what good it has done to you. Everything does good to you. Every bad experience adds on to you. And it should be in a good way. And you've been able to, that's what I want to do. You know, whenever I pass through it, I pass the lane and then I look back, yeah, this is why it happened. And this is what it's added to me.
Yeah.
It's what polished me into a better human being.
Yeah.
You've been able to achieve.
Yeah. And those bad experiences usually are your greatest teachers. I mean, what will happiness teach you? But yeah.
Yep.
One of the great pickups, sorry. One is that we generally feel that people from Bollywood or from entertainment industry, like radio jockeys or from the TV personages, we feel that they're all glamorous and they don't have the...
Hey, I'm glamorous.
No, glamorous.
What is this? I'm kidding.
Any problems, or they don't have any tensions like that. But from you, even if we are educated, we know that they also have problems, but we never feel that,
Yeah.
When you see Shah Rukh Khan, you never feel that he has problems.
Because we show you the side that we want you to see, right?
But Shah Rukh Khan has a lot of problems.
Yeah, he has problems, but we don't feel it,
Yeah.
Like if I talk to Alex or stuff, we know that he has problems. But some other cases like Shah Rukh Khan, we never feel that they have problems, or Deepika was that because of that glamour it gets covered. But sometimes right now I realize that okay, there are problems.
That was a compliment.
Iman, what do you want to say?
Are you giving me another card to heaven?
Now, seriously, I'm doing a negative song. So I had, I don't know, I've been reflecting now on what you said. I noticed that I have a couple of friends, such as like, okay, at the beginning, when you started talking, I don't like you. So why is she saying like that? And it's like not comfortable, yeah? That's what I thought. And I was saying, okay, fine, force yourself to, just, okay, I've been trying to train myself to learn from your enemy or like to learn from somebody you don't like. Yeah? So I was like, okay, fine, force myself, okay, something good will be coming out of this. At the beginning, I'm talking about.
What did I say in the beginning?
See someone and you like or don't like a person.
Yeah, that's my perception of nothing toward you. And then as we go, there's like a lot of gifts.
Okay.
Which is true, like, because I've been forcing myself to say, okay, learn from your enemy or from somebody you're not comfortable with. Like, just to get yourself out of that.
Yeah.
And today you proved that to me. I just want to thank you for that first. And second, also, was like, I've noticed like a couple of other people around me, like as friends, and they had that depression or something negative. So I was like, okay, they're giving all the negative energy to me or so whatever. And I've been reflecting on your something you said that like if I am in a situation where I'm depressed, don't ask me to be like happy or you have a really wonderful life. That's what I was doing with my friends. So I don't know what should I do with them. Like if they're like dumping all their negative energy on me, and seriously, like I'm trying to tell them you have a wonderful life. I don't know what should I do. If you have an answer for that, I'd be more than happy to.
So usually, when somebody who you think is going through depression is don't fix it. That's not what they're looking for. They're not looking to, no. They think they're looking to fix it. They're not. All they want is for somebody to listen to them and to tell them that this is not crazy. You're not going crazy. So if I came to you and I said, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I'm feeling, if I got this response that I'm going to give you, I would feel like I'm being heard. Because what happens with depression, it isolates you because nobody understands why you're feeling the way. You don't understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling.
And sometimes you isolate yourself.
Absolutely. But why do I isolate myself? Because I feel like you're not going to understand. If I go to you, and by you I mean generally. If I go to you, you're either you're going to ask me to be grateful for everything else that I have in my life, or you're going to ask me or you're going to tell me, but you have such a good life, why are you sad? Or you're going to ask me to snap out of it, or you're going to give me solutions. Neither of which I want. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to make me feel like it's okay. If I tell you I feel sad and I don't know why, I need you to look at me and say, it's okay. It's okay. That's it. I just need you to look at me and say, it's okay. So if you don't understand what somebody is going through, the words that you can try and say is, listen, I cannot imagine what you're going through. Because I've not been in the situation that you've been in. I have not felt the feelings that you have felt. But just know that it's okay. Whatever you're going through is okay. You're allowed. Take your space, take your time. I'm here for whatever you need. If you want me to shut up, and listen to you for 3 hours, I would shut up and listen to you for 3 hours because I'd rather you have it out than hold it all in. Instead of, look at how much money you make. Oh my God, look at the amazing apartment that you live in. No. Because the person talking to you who is sad just wants to be heard. Just wants to feel like it's okay. That there's nothing wrong with me. That there's nothing, I'm not abnormal. Sorry?
Sad song.
Yeah, honestly, sad songs actually help me. Because it makes me feel like, okay, somebody gets it.
Who's your favorite singer?
We are reflecting here.
No questions.
We are reflecting here. Yeah.
Takes considerable amount of one needs to muster considerable amount of courage to talk about depression. Not depression as a subject, but one's own depression.
I agree.
Commendable absolutely. And you also help or you make people reflect on how you went through the depression. It's not easy to talk about one's own depression as a subject we can always talk about. But to talk about ourselves and let people perceive you the way they can. That's commendable.
Thank you.
I want to say you are one of Sticky's best kept secrets. So though you have been on radio for 6 years, I claim to have a lot of friends at Sticky.
Okay.
And you were not one of them.
But now I am. Now I am.
So I guess you need a PR person.
Are you looking for a job?
I can recommend.
Thank you. That was my way of saying thank you.
You know, the more sarcastic a person becomes, it becomes such a fine art that the other person often does not get it, it's the tragedy that happens to him.
It's the story of my life. It's the story of my... Shut up, Neil. He's often at the end of my sarcasm, that's why.
No, and often people who are very sarcastic are very sharp. It's just that the other person doesn't get it.
I have one question before we want to end this, because something just triggered about what, because it was just something that came up over here. Yeah, I can change the rules.
That's what rules are for.
Yeah,
You change them.
break them.
And she can finally sing that song too.
No. No songs. I'm not singing.
So, throughout this whole conversation, there is one thing that was going on in my mind. I was wondering, debating whether to ask it or not.
Please do.
When you're speaking about depression, when you're talking about your experiences and everything, your tone is not matching the context in terms of how you're narrating it. So I'm wondering now, are you so detached from your experiences and having those experiences so that you can learn from them and explore them? Because you said you're taking your depression as a learning experience and understanding about that side of the mind. Did you say that? You said that, right? I think you said that.
What did he say? I often forget what I say.
Okay, no problem. The question is this. Your depression, how you're handling it, and how you're looking at yourself.
Yeah.
Do you look at yourself as a third person sometimes?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that will have to be a lot of NLP training as well.
Okay.
Because NLP, for those of you who don't know what NLP is, it's neuro-linguistic programming. One thing it trains you to do, especially in conflict resolution, is you step back. You basically step out and you look at, and it's a really interesting tool, especially when you have to figure out what you did wrong or what you said wrong or how you could have changed your behavior. Because ultimately, the only thing in your control is how you react, how you respond, and what you say. That the only thing that you can control is yourself. You can't control anything else in your life. So NLP has this really interesting tool where you basically you have to visualize that particular situation, and you have to view it as a third person. So there are 3 chairs. Imagine 3 chairs. You're on the 3rd chair, and you draw out that entire conversation, and then you. So I do that. I do that a lot. I do that a lot.
It helps in the detachment part, especially when you're facing a situation like that.
I don't know if it helps in the detachment part. I don't think I can detach myself from my depression because it's always there. It sleeps and wakes up and sleeps and wakes up and sleeps and wakes up. It's also how much, I think I've realized it's how much control I give it. If I have my weekdays, which I do, it's like horrible. I'm really bad company on those days. But if I have my strong days, then I don't give it that much. So I don't know if it's detachment. I think it's, maybe my tone is the way it is today because today is a stronger day. If you spoke to me tomorrow and if tomorrow is a weaker day, then the tone would be different. So I think it depends on day to day. It depends on day to day. It's the kind of control I'm giving it. I think that's what it
makes sense.
It's
It makes sense.
like what you said, that you did day to day, when sort of.
Yeah, about the 10-year plan. Yeah.
I mean, I went through a lot of depression because I went through a lot of dreadful situations. The more you face it, the stronger you develop your stamina and the less you go into depression.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
Sure.
I'm far much older than you are, and it's a very encouraging note because the more you age, the more you find other ways, diversion, I mean, in meditation whatsoever, and if you project on positivity, you're going to continue to that. And that's what you learn by aging. So you're on the right track.
Okay.
I'm
34.
Before we wind up?
I will be majority of my question is asked because I was waiting for a question regarding the energy. So you say your question. I've been there many times from childhood. So I know this program from last 9 months and he's my coach. So I do coaching in a different way. So you say depression and you say you be detached. Do you do the anchoring to get detached, or I just want to understand whether my understanding is correct.
I don't detach.
You still don't?
I don't detach. Because I learn so much from it, I don't detach. I don't think I can, honestly, sorry?
You dilute it.
I dilute it. I do. Day to day, I dilute it. Honestly, and this is not to sound morbid or overly negative, but I don't think I'll ever be without my depression. Ever.
No, you will. You will.
I don't have a problem with it. It's an acceptance.
You don't have a problem, nobody has a problem.
Exactly. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think depression is wrong. I don't think it's a disease. I don't look at depression as a disease.
Illustrating how you want people to handle depression and depression people, the way you actually perceive it.
Yeah, because and that's the problem. I think that's why depression makes so many people uncomfortable, because they automatically associate disease with depression. It's not. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not a disease. It's not contagious. It's a state of mind.
It's not contagious, but affect the people around you as well.
Sure. If people around you don't know how to handle it, sure.
It's 11.
Would you say it's a chemical locha?
It is.
What is locha now? We have
Chemical imbalance. It's a chemical imbalance. Sure, of course.
It could have been easier if you said chemical imbalance. I know chemical and I know imbalance.
Thank you. I can't believe it's 11. I didn't know it.
Somebody's like, can we wrap it up, please?
What's the card?
What's my card? It says, leadership role is not given, it is taken. Similarly, responsibility is taken, not given.
What do you want to reflect it on? On what experience in life you want to connect it to?
Leadership role is not given, it is taken. Similarly, responsibility is taken, not given. I think for me, I think it's being, I don't know.
I think it's perfect because what you have done with depression, you have taken
Leadership
over
over
that. When you look at it, it makes absolute sense.
Yes.
No, but I would have eventually gone there. I
told you guys are related.
Finally, you find your brother.
Yeah. I think that's what it would reflect on.
All right. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you.